Hello everyone, today I'm working on this SD60. It's basically just a box of parts. I'm not even sure that I can fix this. Obviously since I bought it I think that maybe, but we'll have to see. So the box is also broken here on the side, and that's going to be probably the first thing that I'll fix. I'll just put some crazy glue on this. That should be good enough to hold it. And then we'll have a look at what we have for parts. I also got the instructions, and in the back there's instructions for a lens decoder. Now I don't run DCC. Hopefully it will let me run it with DC. That would be awesome. The rest of the parts in the box, I've got couplers, a snowplow. There's that little bell that I like. That's gonna go back. There's a winterization hatch, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that. And then there's one truck which appears to be severely damaged. We'll be spending some time working on that. There's the main part of the locomotive. Everything seems to be there, so that's good news. It's heavily weathered. That's okay actually. I don't have too many locomotives that are weathered like that, so I'm going to be running it like this. The first thing I'm going to do is take it apart, take the shell off. I can see the horn here, it's bent a little bit. I'm going to see, maybe I can just straighten it out with my fingers. The shell looks pretty good. There's added details, there's ditch lights in the front, there's cab shades over here, and overall pretty good shape. So I'm going to remove it from the shell, from the frame. So I'm using the box method. It comes out pretty easily, and it's a DC board, which is perfect for me, so that's good news. Let's see if the motor still works. So I'll just put my test leads, one on each side, and it works really well actually. That's even more good news. Now I'm going to focus on the truck that has problems. Just going to let my camera focus. I don't know if you can see the gear on the top here. It wobbles, it's completely out of its axle. So I'm going to take it out so I can have a better look at it. I'm going to start by removing the side frame and the wheels. That's going to allow me to see better what I'm doing. So all I got to do is get under here and pry very gently. Well, it just wants to fall out, that's okay. And then do the same thing on the other side. Just pry it out very gently. So the side frames come out, and the contact strips. And I'm also going to remove the wheels. These will all get cleaned in their time. Then we can take a better look at all these gears. There's one little gear here that's popped out. That should be able to, I should be able to pop that back in. That's going to be okay. But the main one here at the top, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, these two little ones seem to be okay. The only problem being the one that's at the top. All these other little ones appear to be okay. So let me take a look at that off camera. So I tried different things. I have a bunch of extra gearboxes with different gears, and I tried quite a few, and they ended up not really working. They're all different sizes with different tooth counts. So what I ended up doing to this one, I ended up gluing the pin right back where it was. So now all I got to do is put it back in. These little wee ones ended up being easy to pop back in, so that's not a problem. So I'm gonna work on putting my gear back. So I popped it back in, and it looks like it's gonna work okay. I'm gonna clean the rest of the truck, including the wheels, and I'm gonna put everything back together. I still like to clean my wheels by hand. I find that that's what gives it the best job possible. Since I have it in my hands, I may as well. You can see my rag's dirty a little bit, so it's definitely something that's gonna help out. There. Squeaky clean. The previous owner also spent a lot of time putting extra details into here. He even put a speedometer cable on the end of the journal. So that, I really appreciate that, a little bit extra detail. Nice. I find that this is an engine that's definitely worth fixing. There's no doubt about that. Now the distance between the middle wheel and this wheel is smaller than the middle wheel and this wheel. So when you put your contact strips, make sure that you have the correct side and that it lines up properly. It's very subtle. If you blink, you'll miss it. And also, when you roll your gears a little bit to check it, you'll feel that it's binding a little bit. So if that happens, maybe you got them backwards. Now I'm running this, it feels pretty good. Then I'll just slide my side frames right over it. That should all click right into place. And I keep checking it just to make sure until I'm happy. That feels pretty good. So I did the other side off camera. Now I'm ready to look at what's inside my drive system. So I already removed the gas tank. I'm going to remove the light shield, and then I can spread this apart. And it ran pretty good when I tested it, so I'm expecting that it's going to be okay. I'm just going to do a little bit of cleaning. I'm going to straighten out this light bulb here. That's going to feel much better. It could run well even if the light bulb is crooked a little bit, but I think it looks much better with it straight. So yeah, it just needs a little bit of lubrication. 2 drops is all you need. And then I'll put it back together. So now I can start putting everything back together. One of my insulators fell out when I was cleaning it. So you want to make sure that you manage that, because you do need them. If the 2 frame halves touch one another, you have a short circuit, and that would be bad. So for the circuit board, you want to make sure that the 2 contact strips from the motor touch the top. Without that, the motor won't turn, so you're not going anywhere. And then I'll just put the 2 frame halves back together. making sure that I line up everything. And then the two trucks, I cleaned the other side off camera. So this longer part goes inside. And the front one has my little speedometer cable here. So that also goes towards the inside. While I was looking at it some more, I found another little extra detail that the previous owner put. So I took the time to put my horn back on. It's nice and straight now. And look at that. He's got separately applied windshield wipers. They're very small. I mean, small enough that I can hardly see them. So somebody did a lot of work to this. Don't forget your light shield. Here, I'll give you a closer look at the windshield wipers. Yeah, so somebody put a lot of work into this. You can hardly see them, and even on the back door, still has the windshield wipers there. So interesting stuff. So I can tighten my screws. They don't have to be super tight. Just hand tight is okay. Just when you start feeling them catch, that's enough. And then you line up your contact strips before you put on your gas tank, because it will hold your contact strips together. Now, before I put the shell back on, I am going to test this because it was a wreck. So I want to make sure that it's 100% before I put my shell back on. So it's going to run. You can see the frame keeps moving up and down because the gear I repaired is a little bit eccentric. So I'm going to have to order a part for it. But for today, it's going to be good enough. And also, before I put my shell back on, I will put my couplers back. Much easier with the shell off. Then I'll put the little retainer. That's got a direction too. Yep, now we're happy. Also, I took the time to put the snowplow back on. So all that's left to do is put the shell back on its drive. And now it's time to run some trains. I also took the time to put the snowplow back on. All that's left to do is put the shell back on the drive. And also, I looked through my boxes and I was able to find the insert that goes in the box. So, not 100% new, but close enough. There's a place for the winterization hatch here. So I've got everything. Not brand new, but close enough. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.